Yo, what's up? You already know what it is. It's Adam Lewis, and we're here with another episode. This one's going to be current events, and I'm here with,
Blended Justice.
all right, and let's get this one started. So, we're going to be doing current events today, and I think you want to start off with you got a topic you want to start off with, or you want me to pick one?
Go ahead and pick one.
All right, I think we should start off with Kaepernick. That one's like I think the oldest one that we can start off with,
Yep.
and his settlement with Nike. So I didn't watch all the propaganda that was behind it. Like I saw a commercial or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
I don't know. I didn't watch that either. I think the right word to use exactly is propaganda, but no, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that was the perfect word to use because he got his settlement, from my understanding, was with Nike, right? Not with the NFL.
Oh shit, was it?
I believe
Because
it
I
was.
thought the settlement was with the NFL.
I don't believe so. Is there a way
Yeah.
that we could fact check that real quick?
Honestly, right now.
All
Hold
right.
on. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, actually.
All right, so then we still recording.
All right. So my understanding, though, the settlement was with Nike, and it wasn't like a settlement. He got like some kind of big deal with them, like some kind of he got a bunch of money. He was like the face of Nike or something like that. So maybe a settlement's not the right thing to call it. He got a deal with Nike, I guess, and they paid him a lot of money. But
Oh, okay.
Nike and the NFL are partners, so
They are.
that's kind of sketchy to me. Like you're suing one person, and you're going against, it's like going against brothers. Man, I hate your brother. Talking all kinds of crazy stuff about this person's brother, but they're friends. I mean, not they're friends, they're family. They're they're not gonna separate for you. So that's an interesting way to get paid out of it. Like I'm wondering, was it just all a little scam because nobody's talking about it no more?
Mm, okay. So I think there are like two things going on here now that I just looked it up. The Nike thing that you're talking about is that little commercial shit where yeah, he was definitely like the face of it. I think it was like something like it's only crazy until you do it, some dumb shit like that. But he did recently settle with the NFL. Um,
Okay.
and at first, okay, so the narrative, in my own opinion, at first was he settled with the NFL, which means that the NFL has something. No, Colin Kaepernick has something damning about the NFL, or else they wouldn't settle because they have they didn't even settle in the situation with their former players bringing up their issues with concussions.
Good.
Like they took that shit as far as they could take it, and they didn't care. So the fact that they settled with Colin Kaepernick, we all thought, and Colin Kaepernick has something really big on him. And then it turns out now the settlement, I think we found out like a couple of weeks ago. And it was just leaked. And what's weird is that the settlement is supposed to be confidential. There's nothing that's supposed to be leaked from the settlement. However, it was leaked that Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, who were both suing the NFL, only got $10 million, and I'm a little confused. Like this doesn't make sense to me for several reasons. One, I agreed with the first sentiment that I didn't understand the NFL settling with Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed. If they didn't feel like Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick had something that they didn't necessarily want out there in the public eye. I always thought that the NFL would win just because they had the money to, and I don't think there was enough evidence to really prove that the NFL owners colluded against Kaepernick and Eric Reed. But I don't like the timing of everything that's happening right now. So all of a sudden, yes, they settled, but and everything was supposed to be confidential.
Mm-hmm.
And now it comes out that they settled and only got $10 million out of the situation. None of this really makes sense to me, but What do you think?
So, what did they settle? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around because, from my understanding, the reason that he was fired was because
Hmm.
he he kept kneeling while they're doing the national anthem, and when they
Right.
asked him why, he said that it was because of police brutality against black people or black men or something like that to that effect, right?
Right. Okay. So when it's not, and that's what he was trying to prove. It wasn't official that he was let go because of that. It's official that like the 49ers wanted to move on and they have the right to. And what he was trying to prove was that he was unable to get an NFL job because he was kneeling. Um, but that's like that wasn't something that's what he was trying to prove in court. That's not something that was explicitly said. That was just like a sentiment that many black people, including myself,
Yeah,
had about the entire situation.
me as
So
well.
that,
And all the things that the coaches and everyone said about it, the situation,
right,
and like I thought he was on that same train too. So that's what I was getting to is I don't understand how you settle for any amount of money when that's still happening right now.
right. So yeah, that's why it didn't necessarily make sense.
You know?
Because that's what I thought the entire, well, yes, that was what the entire issue was about. And so I thought two things would have happened. I thought, yes, he got paid handsomely by the league, meaning that the league paid him a good amount of money to just go away, and he had something damning on him, and there was like a clause in there saying, well, I don't know, I'm just speculating at this point,
Uh-huh.
but saying that Colin Kaepernick would be able to get a job in the NFL again. We don't know the details, but what we do, we only know two things so far. We know that the NFL, Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid settled, and that they only got $10 million in the settlement. Again, that which doesn't make any sense to me.
So with this settlement, will they ever play in the NFL again?
Eric Reid will because he's gotten a contract. We don't know if Colin Kaepernick will.
So that sounds like hush money to me.
Yeah, but if it's only $10 million, like really,
Exactly.
that's
It's only 10 million. He's an NFL player. From my understanding, they make a lot of money, but not as much as NBA players. But they make a lot of money. And again, it doesn't matter how much you're gonna pay me. What he was protesting against is still happening. So any amount of money you want to give to me to stop talking about the subject or to to shut up about it, it's not gonna happen. It's not happening until it stops. And even when it stops, there's still some other issues we got to take care of. So fuck your money. I don't
exactly.
I don't understand that. And not only that, but he's not one of those players, from my understanding, that comes from poverty and had to make it to the NFL to change his life. He's not one of those people. So I don't understand what the money hungry part comes from. That's beyond me. That is beyond me.
Right. Which is why I'm with this situation. I would like some more information because it doesn't really make sense. The settlement
I agree.
in a way makes sense because it's like I thought he had some information on the NFL that the NFL just didn't want out there. Like he had something on them that they were like, I don't give a fuck what's going on. We need to settle because, like, again,
Maybe
concussions can be proven. Go ahead.
I said maybe how racist everyone is in there. Like, have you
Yeah,
ever watched
something.
an NFL? I think it's called a combine or something like that, where they go and show off all their skills and their speed
Yep.
and their
Yep.
stats. It
Right.
looks eerily similar to the slave trading block. Hey, look how big
Oh,
and strong this nigga is. Look how big.
exactly.
Look how fast he can run. Like that whole NFL thing, I'm pretty sure since its inception, it's just been racist as fuck and prejudice and like so bigoted that it's insane. They probably think all these Goliath of black men are stupid, and when really
Right.
they're a lot of them are very intelligent, especially because they're going to these colleges and stuff like that and playing, and they just watching all this stuff happen. And eventually somebody's gonna say something, but because of that money and because most of them come out of poverty, they don't want to fuck that up because
Hmm.
they need that money and they want to take care of their family. But
That, and they also want jobs with the league after they're done. So like they want to go into coaching and shit like that.
or They want to be on TV talking about all that stuff.
Right.
But that's
Right.
so. How many people get those jobs?
Not many. Like not many. There still aren't, compared to how many Black athletes there have been, there aren't a lot of Black like
Exactly.
coaches or anything like that. And it doesn't really make sense to me because it's like, okay,
There's
one
more.
of the best people to coach your league or to help you with training and conditioning and all that other shit are the people who are actually in it.
Yeah.
And there are more white people on like in coaching positions, in GM positions, who've never played the fucking sport.
Never, not even athletic, never been on a field, never.
Oh God. On God. Like for real. I don't get it. And it's so like flagrant that they instituted a Rooney rule in their in that whole little situation, basically saying you don't necessarily have to hire a Black coach, but you have to interview one. Like you at the very least have to interview one. That's how bad it is. And so I don't know.
Affirmative action bullshit is that?
Right. Like I don't get that.
I never even heard of that. That's crazy.
Oh no, yeah. That's been in there for a while. And it comes up like, well, I'm a big sports head. So it comes up every year when there are coaches fired and all that shit. About how there are a lack of Black coaches. That's one. And two, listen, you with the Rooney rule, they have to at the very least interview one Black coach.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not that into sports, so I'm not hip to it, but that's insane because that sounds exactly like affirmative action. The only difference is they don't have to hire one.
No. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, like this whole Colin Kaepernick situation though, it doesn't really make any sense to me. I thought that the reason why they settled, and these were just my thoughts, was the fact that the NFL, he has something on the NFL that the NFL didn't want to out, and so they settled with him because of that, and they paid him handsomely to not say anything about it. And also they were going to, like, there would be a clause in there that would be able to give him a job. So not only would he be able to still, donate and do what he's doing with his Know Your Rights camp and shit like that, but he'd also have a chance to get a job again in the NFL. It doesn't seem, from what I've read and the things that I've seen so far, that's happened, and he's only got $10 million in the settlement. So I don't get what's going on here.
So,
like I don't get it.
Let me just say this though, because it doesn't make sense, like you're saying. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And let me just shout out Zoe Williams, because he's where I get this from. Love watching his show, and Krishnamurti.
Right.
It's no measure of health to be well ingrained in a sick society, something along those lines. And so if these people did this to you, why would you want to go back and work for them in the first place?
Yo, my thought.
Why would you want to go back? Like, and why would you accept any kind of payment for them? It's like somebody spitting in your face and then giving you some money to wipe it off with, and like, hey, just take this.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. And that's why I was thinking that from the very beginning, maybe it was just like a distraction from something else more important that was going on that's affecting us now, or either it's going to affect us later, that he was put there to distract us. Like that whole little campaign, all that shit was just there to distract us. And I don't know what it may be, but something's not right about that. And I hosted, because when's the last time you heard him say anything or do anything?
I haven't heard him say much, and that's because, well, okay, I'll give my theory on why I haven't heard him say much. I always thought that a lot of people like to be propped up, or a lot of Black people like to prop up other Black people as leaders in the community.
Yeah.
And everybody can be
leaders. They weren't asked for that position.
Right. And so I think he wanted to lead in this way. Well, I thought, my theory was, he wanted to lead by example and not say a whole bunch, just because he understood that no matter what he said, it would be picked apart. Like, for example, when he was talking, when he was still in the league and he was kneeling, he had on a Castro shirt. I think it was Castro and Nelson Mandela, or Malcolm X, one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had on that shirt and he was defending why he had on that shirt. So but that didn't come off well with, fans and obviously people in the Cuban community. He was playing the Miami Dolphins at the time. So I thought for that reason, he decided that it was better if he just like kind of leads by example instead of talking a lot or saying too much. And also, like, again, he had given a lot of money back into the community, not just with his Know Your Rights camp, but also, I remember there's the article I read where he gave suits to dudes who were like fresh out of jail, and were on their way to interviews and shit like that.
Yeah, he has some kind of charity with his I think it's his wife or fiance or something like that. He has some kind of charities with her, and they do a lot of help for the community. So I understand that, but he was doing that on a world stage in a way. So why not say anything again when you have that platform?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's why I said a lot of it doesn't necessarily make sense to me. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people who are quick to like jump on him and be like, oh, you only got $10 million. Cause like, well, honestly, that shit just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get it. If I'm settling with the NFL, I'm breaking the bank. I'm settling with you for like $500 million. It's some crazy amount of number like that.
Exactly. Because like they're partners with people like Nike. They have like these people make so much money off of our people and the American public period. Like I don't understand how you just settle for that much. That's chump change.
Exactly.
That's chump change for people's lives that you were supposedly fighting for.
Right. Right. So
$10 million is a settlement that police give people that they kill.
Right. Exactly. A little $3-4 million fucking dollars. Yeah, that's about it. Like, hey, we killed you. But oh well, get $3-4 million out of it. Nah,
that's insane, because that's how much you think a life is worth.
Exactly.
So even that's why I don't understand why he would just take any amount. Any amount wouldn't matter because he was fighting for his people, supposedly. Yeah. And no amount of money because it's fucking paper, dude.
Yeah.
So no amount of that will never equal the respect and love of my people. No paper. Right. It's paper. No amount that you can never pay me enough to disrespect my people that way or do anything like that or not ride with them when they need me.
Right.
When everybody's
which is why. Yeah, that's why none of this really makes sense. He was being propped up as a hero. In fact, the narrative kind of changed in a way from it being about police kneeling, the whole kneeling thing being about police brutality and other injustices, and going to Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. So I don't, like I said, I don't know.
More about the national anthem.
Yeah.
It became more about that than what the police were doing to people. Like it was and it was more about the national anthem and disrespecting veterans. When veterans said that we don't feel disrespected, they said that in the very beginning.
Right. And in fact, he collaborated with the veteran to say, okay, instead of sitting, I'm going to kneel because it's more respectful.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
That's what doesn't make sense from the very whole shit. Because what you just said right now, if people would have seen that very part and understood what kneeling is in football and armed, what is that, in the military, whatever, it means something. It's not a sign of disrespect. It is a sign of respect.
Right. So I don't like I said, none of this really makes sense to me. I think we can dive deeper into this, but like there are a lot of holes in this information. And I'm not willing to make a judgment one way or another yet. But If he really did settle for $10 million, that's bullshit.
I definitely
That
agree.
is bullshit.
I agree, 100%.
I don't make no fucking sense. I ain't selling with you for $10 million. I'll probably sell it with you for $500 million, and then make sure that I'm able to build up my people and build up my community. Because like I feel like that's what it would take. But I'm not selling with you for no damn $10 million. Like that's disrespectful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I definitely agree.
So, but then on the flip side, if I am the NFL, this played out exactly how I would want it to play out.
Exactly.
Like, this is absolutely perfect. I've gotten everybody's favorite new hero to not only settle, but also settle for a chump change amount. And on like conservatives will probably say, well, he settled for $10 million. Most people don't have $10 million. And it's like, it's even though that may be true, it's still only $10 million. Like, that's not enough money to, one, sell your soul for, and two, it's to build up anything or do anything with. It's not a significant amount. In fact, his last contract, he was making $12 million a year, just to put it in perspective.
That's why I mentioned how much the NFL players make, because that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Hear me out on this one, and this, maybe I'm crazy. It could be a conspiracy theory, you know. But I think the same thing's about to happen with Gucci. But
okay, go ahead, go for it, because I'm interested.
Kaepernick kneels, all the things we just talked about, all that stuff happens, right?
Right.
He ends up settling with the NFL, getting however much he got, because
Right.
it's still speculation. And then, but he definitely got that deal with Nike. What happened after he got that deal with Nike? What
Nike blew up. Everybody was like, "Oh, Nike!"
You see on your news feed and everything. Everybody wanted all kinds of Nike, everything, right?
Which was fucking stupid, by the way. But go ahead.
I 100% agree, because they're still the same motherfuckers.
All right.
Nike is with the NFL, like I said in the beginning.
Right.
I'm pretty sure after Colin Kaepernick did what he did, after kneeling and all that stuff, and then becoming the face of Nike, their stocks and their sales went through the fucking roof, and black people spend an insane amount of money on Nikes and clothes and material things, period.
Yep.
So maybe from the very beginning, they were just like, hey, let's get this poster boy right here and make him as a rebel, a rebel and a protester and a fighter for civil rights, and then turn him into the face of our company. And then we sell millions, maybe even billions.
That would be, honestly, it would be genius, because everything worked out. They've already gotten your money because you already spent it based upon that little campaign shit that you did. He settled with the NFL. He settled for chump change, and the NFL can make him look like a fool for settling with him for that amount in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure what he got paid by Nike was way more than $10 million.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
So let me take this little, pretend like I'm still in a feud with these people, but I'm going to get this cash payment, not this cash payment, this cash out from these people, but they're still partners. They're brothers.
Right.
So
and that, I don't know. At the time, I was like, okay, like I said, he does a lot for the community. He does give a lot of money back. So I didn't necessarily mind that. But with the combination of what's happening now and what we found out about the settlement and shit like that, I don't know. I'm side-eyeing this one. I have no idea what the fuck is going on, but I'm side-eyeing this one because this don't make no fucking sense.
I agree 100%. Something's fishy here. I want some answers.
Right. Like, no, for real. I really do want some fucking answers. Yeah. And if I'm the NFL, again, this went exactly the way I wanted to go. I got everybody's hero. I got him to settle. And not only do I have him settle, yes, the contract is supposed to be confidential, but there's no confidentiality nowadays. Like, no one really gives a fuck. Exactly. So let me go ahead and sneak out that amount. And also, I scare any other fucking player who was thinking about doing something like this from ever doing it again.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Yep. That's exactly what they did. So
It'd be like Scooby. What's the name of the commissioner of the NFL?
Roger Goodell.
It's gonna be like Scooby Doo. We're gonna pull off the Colin Kaepernick's mask, and it's gonna be Roger Goodell. If it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what it would be.
That's cool.
I don't know. The whole situation is fucked. But yeah, so that's all I got to say on that, really.
All right.
Yeah.
It's your turn now, though. It's your turn to pick the next topic. So.
All right. So we gonna transfer to the whole New Zealand shit that happened.
Oh.
A terrorist. Let me say that one more time. A terrorist, a white terrorist, going into a mosque and shooting up and killing, I believe, 50 people, probably injuring more, most likely.
Definitely.
First thoughts. First thing I want to say is condolences and prayers to the families that happened to. It's unfortunate. I can understand their pain just because another white terrorist went into a church in, I believe, South Carolina.
Yep.
And shot up 8 or 9 people there who were just like, "Hey, let's pray."
Yeah. Who's gonna say his name? But ain't gonna waste our time on his bullshit.
Nah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this.
Go ahead.
I don't want to say this one's worse than the other, or this is worse, or anything like that, because it's wrong, and people still lost their lives, no matter how many people lost their lives. As somebody's mom, brother, father, sons, it's somebody's relative at the end of the day, and they were loved. So
yeah,
I don't want to discredit that, but since you mentioned that one in South Carolina, the crazy thing about that one was that they accepted him into their church, and that man sat there and prayed with them and then killed them.
Yeah.
This dude in New Zealand was prepared, looked trained. I watched that video several times, and I don't know why, because I've seen shit like that since I was younger. So I just watched it several times without any kind of feelings to it. I was just analyzing it. That dude came there trained, ready to go, playing propaganda music with all kinds of writing on his guns, and ready to kill as soon as he got to the front door and seen the first person. No, actually, he wasn't the first person. He walked past a couple when he went into the mosque, and they didn't say anything. They just looked frightened and startled, and then he started shooting as soon as he got to the opening of the door.
Okay.
I've never seen a slaughter like that before on video. And the fact that it ran so long on Facebook Live is another thing we could talk about. But that it was crazy to see something like that. He had the writing on his gun. They all meant something. He took time to write on every piece of the gun, from the clip to the barrel to the stock. One of the things that my brother pointed out to me was it said Vienna 1680 something. And it was the siege of Vienna when they took it back from the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire was the Moorish people, the Muslims that were in Vienna, and fought back and took it back from the black people. And so this man had all this kind of writing and propaganda on his guns. He was playing propaganda music. He said Candace Owens, a black woman, influenced him. He mentioned Donald Trump.
Wow.
This internet thing and the way people have access to all kinds of things that fits their narrative is literally killing people. It's killing them, getting them murdered. It's insane.
I didn't watch the video because I'm tired of seeing people getting killed. So even when like there's a video of a black man being slaughtered, like I think the last one I watched was Philando Castile, and I was done.
Minnesota, right? If I'm mistaken.
Yeah, Minnesota. I was done. I was like, that was crazy. Like I was done after that. So I haven't. Right. It was. So I haven't watched the video. I was off of it, but that is crazy. I can't understand how I can't understand um how something like that can happen, because obviously this man, he he ordered the gun, or he had the gun, but everything that he was planning.
No, wait. He had 5 of them.
Five.
He had 5 automatic shotguns, semi-automatic rifles,
What the
2 tanks
fuck?
of gas, body armor, and a helmet cam.
See, that's the part that doesn't make sense to me. So nobody's like asking him what the fuck you need all that for.
Right.
Like, no, legit,
Right.
legit. Let somebody order something like that from my store. I'm telling. I don't know who I'm telling, but I'm telling somebody. I'm like, hey, excuse me. So he has a whole bunch of guns and shit, and he's buying gas, and like, so nobody thinks this is weird. We're just gonna go along with it. We gonna act like this is okay. This is cool. Like, for real. Even if it was online, right? Which I'm sure their government, I know it's New Zealand, it's not the American government, whatever. I'm sure their government can track shit like that, like they're tracking everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
No one raised a red flag. No one was like, so this dude is buying all this shit and it doesn't make sense. Because I'm sure if it was a black person or a Muslim person, like they continuously try to demean and degrade, they would have found that shit immediately. And then it would have been even more proof for what's that? We'll talk about that in a second. But the nigga who got egged in the face because he was like, "Oh, it's Muslims' fault. They got shot up."
His name.
Like,
He's a senator, I believe, in Australia. And so this teen egged him because of his racist comments. And this dude's from Australia. The shooter is from Australia. He was fighting and was upset about it. He was not fighting, I'm sorry. He killed immigrants or people he thought were immigrants and that were Muslim because he was against immigration, when this man is a white dude from Australia, which doesn't fucking make sense. White dude from Australia in New Zealand, which also doesn't make sense because the natives there are Māori. They're not white.
There you
go. So where are you from? You're an immigrant in this land. It's the educational system that we have that are taught white people are just as fucked up as we are, or any other race is just as fucked up as we are, because they don't know their history just like we don't. He thinks that's his land. He doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't know that's not his. You don't come from this place, bro. Like I don't understand what's going on with these people, these nationalists, and they think that they come from this place. You don't come from here. You don't come. You're not native to most places. I'm just leave it at that. You're not native to most places, so
exactly. It's really like a psychotic way of thinking. It's okay. So not only are we going to go into this land where people are being nice to us and helping us feed ourselves and bathe and shit, but we're going to go into there and then we're going to be nice at first, and then kill people. We're gonna kill everybody off.
Religion.
Yep.
I forgot who said it, but religion is one of the most important parts of politics.
Yep.
That's how you make people docile and bound. The word religion comes from a Latin word that means to bind. You got to bind these people first and make them docile, and then they'll believe anything you tell them.
No, you're absolutely right with that. And that's what they've done. And that's what they have done for years. And then have the nerve to turn around when they see too many people who don't look like them showing up into what they perceive to be their country. And then go, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. We're going to be racist towards you. We're going to kill you. We're going to spin this narrative that everybody who doesn't look like us is bad, and then justify our actions and not even attempt to call each other terrorists when we do terrorist acts. That shit right there makes absolutely no sense to me. Because what that man did, he was a terrorist, and so many news sites are afraid to
wrong with his mental health. What do you mean he was a terrorist? Something was wrong with his mental health.
Right. And it's like,
Get the
really?
fuck out of here with that shit.
Like y'all on some bullshit right now. You guys are on some bullshit right now. They've always been on this bullshit.
What was it? He was on Ambien.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Ambien makes everybody racist.
My God.
Oh shit.
I remember that shit. Oh wow. The side effects of this drug can make you racist. That's funny.
Wow.
That's some shit. And it's every excuse in the world. And I think when I say we who are not white people, not black people, because black people have known.
Melanated ones.
Exactly. Like us melanated people have been trying to tell y'all for years that white people are crazy, but no one believed us. We really need to like have a come together and do some shit, because this doesn't make any sense. And what I mean is that we are the majority.
Damn true.
There's this narrative out there that we are the minority. That's not true.
I don't know.
There are 2 billion people who are melanated. Obviously, we know the Chinese have 1 billion population. The Indian people have 1 billion population. Like we are the majority.
Do you know how many melanated people there are in Asia?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like in general,
you know, like they are some of the most melanated because they were some of the first out of Africa.
There you go. But most people don't know that, and that's what I'm saying. Like we need to start controlling our narrative and stop acting and participating as if we are the minority, but really participate as if we are the majority. And I feel like that's the narrative that's trying to be stopped right now, is that a lot of people are realizing that with more, at least African American people, realizing that Africa isn't a place where people just sit around all day and live in huts and shit, and that people have houses and things of that nature. Or go ahead.
Africa's not even one country.
There you go.
How many people know that? Like you gotta bring them back to like grade school and be like, it's a continent, right?
Right. That part though, like that shit kills me anytime I hear it. When people refer to Africa as a continent. I mean, as a country.
Yeah, like it's one homogenous country where they all doing the same thing and they all look the same and they all have the same language, same customs, and that place is vast. It's the biggest, really, actually. It's the biggest, and it has I think the most languages, if I'm not mistaken. They have the most languages, the most unique and what's the word, like
diversity
cultures. Like they're so different from each other, from one side to the other.
Exactly.
And it's all melanated.
Right.
Go figure.
And I think and that's the issue. Like that's not out there enough. And I feel like we really need to control our narrative in that sense, because what's happening right now, that guy said he was influenced. First off, explain to me about the whole Candace Owens situation, because I didn't realize he said he was influenced by Candace Owens, which is one of those people who need to get the fuck out of here. But go ahead.
I agree 100%. I've seen a couple of things about her, as she was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and she was also she was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and then she was on, I believe I've seen her in Vice. Vice had this thing where they were talking about young Black Republicans or something like that, or young Black conservatives.
And they put her.
She was.
I have a thing about Black conservatives.
Amongst a lot of other people who are on there. You should definitely check that out if you haven't yet. It's interesting because you see a lot of young people, and their idea of young is in their 30s and stuff like that. So they're not us young.
Okay.
But because I definitely don't think that our generation thinks like that anymore. I definitely not. But they think that they're still in that generation and they could pull themselves up by the bootstrap. And she's one of those people, from my understanding. She's very conservative, very right wing. but she's black, a young black woman. And so, like, this man said that she helped radicalize him. Those were his words. Not that she influenced him, helped radicalize him.
Hope that bitch can't sleep at night. Go ahead.
And from my understanding, when people get radicalized, that's when they do things like join ISIS and all that kind of stuff. And so her rhetoric inspired him to go out and do what he did. And I don't see that any different than a gang leader being like, hey, bro, I ain't telling you to go take care of that, but I need you to go handle something for me. And if you want to, if we all trying to make money, but he's impeding on, just go handle that. But I never told you to go do it, though, just if you can. It sounds like some kind of like all these people are getting away with it, like how Donald Trump said what he said about there's good people on both sides, you know? Like,
yeah, that bullshit.
It's like these people who have these platforms get to say and influence people when it's on one side of the spectrum, and they get to do things where they hurt and kill people. But if somebody else who is melanated does something, and that's wrong now that I think about it, because Candace Owens is melanated. So if you just come from the different spectrum and you're fighting against that system, and you say anything along those lines, and you're inspiring people to take action in any kind of way, they're taking you down immediately. But these people get to stay in power or in their positions and keep doing what they're doing.
If you're not upholding the white supremacy narrative, then you have to be taken down.
Pretty much.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what I'm seeing. Pretty much.
And I can't believe that.
That woman reminds me of the what's that show all the black women used to watch, like, faithfully?
Which one? Because there's a lot of them. I ain't gonna be lying to you.
It's with the, I don't know. She was like the president's right hand woman or something like that.
Oh, Scandal.
Okay, there you go. That show. She reminds me of that kind of woman who's in politics, and they asked her to like play this role and do this for us real quick, and she got these people riled up, and they're ready to act on her behalf. And that's all it usually takes to inspire any kind of crazy revolution is a nice looking young lady who's ready to go, who's inspiring you to young men to action. That's all it takes.
You're right about that. I didn't. Okay. I think that word that you used, though, is radicalized, is very important. I think that's what we should start saying, is radicalized, because that's what he said. And it's a very important word that is not usually used with white people. That's what that one dude who shot up the church in South Carolina, that's exactly what he was. He was radicalized. And I just want to start putting that narrative and those same terms that they use with us, even if it's not true, but that they use with us on them, because it's important and it's true. And he was radicalized. I
start calling them militant, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That's what they are. That's any person that is stockpiling weapons, that is ready to kill somebody.
I don't get it. Like, how do you not, if someone is stockpiling weapons, how do you not know? Or why are you ignoring it? Because if my neighbor is stockpiling weapons, I'm gonna know about it. Like, I don't care how private that person is.
All the time, you think you would, but not all the time. These people laugh and in your face. They hang out with you. They might go to dinner with you, give you hugs while you're at work, be very cordial with you. But when they're amongst their peers, the people who think like them, it's totally different. They have a whole other, they turn to a whole other person. I've seen it firsthand. Especially when I was in middle school, blew my mind. You know, like, went to all Hispanic middle school. I would be hanging out with some friends.
Yeah,
we're all cool when we're kicking it together. But then if they didn't see me around and they would be with their friends, I would hear them say things about black people that I would be like, hey, he would never say that in front of me.
Right.
or he would never use those kind of words in front of me, but that's how it happens. It's the person that's the closest to you some of the time that feels such a way about you. You'd be like, what the hell is going? What? It'll blow your mind.
Right, because it's in a way they think like, oh, not you. You know, like we're not talking about you. I mean, it's like, no, you are. Like you really are.
And because I'm about to do it to you right now, because I'm about to stereotype you right now.
Exactly.
I'm about to stereotype you because the way you speak, and because they do it to me all the time.
Yep.
I'm about to tell you, I'm pretty sure you've heard you talk very, very good for a black girl.
Oh my God.
Or you're not like you're a black person. You're not a nigger.
Or my favorite, I'm so glad you don't act ghetto. That shit right there. That shit kills me. I got that out so many times in my life, and I couldn't understand. Like I really couldn't fathom how someone could say that to me. Right. Like one, what does that mean?
Do you know what a ghetto is? Do you really know what a ghetto is?
Right. Do you? Like, do you know where that fucking term came from?
Educate them real quick. You take that one. What is a ghetto? What is a ghetto?
So if I'm not mistaken, ghetto actually started with the the Jewish community, but like specifically in what is that? World War II.
Nazi Germany.
Nazi Germany. Where they had all the Jewish people like stacked together, and then they termed their coin. They termed the coin ghetto to describe what they were living in.
Yep. And they stacked a bunch of people on top of each other in a small area with minimal resources.
Exactly. And called it a ghetto.
And they started fucking each other up.
Right.
Those limited resources and killing each other and Jewish on Jewish crime.
Yeah.
As they would point it on us now, which is bullshit, but that's where it comes from. That's insane to me.
Right. And then like you said, limited resources. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were putting those people there with limited resources for a reason, because they understood that people would fight each other for those limited fucking resources, trying to brand them as the animals they thought that they were. It's a whole fucking like the thing. It's a psychological game that they're fucking playing with people.
While in the process making them into the thing they want them to be or thought them to be. In the process.
Exactly. And people reiterating it without honestly knowing what it is or where it comes from or understanding the term. Just understanding the term alone tells you a lot about what melanated people go through, what we're living in, and why we're living in it. Just that term. That fucking term. But so many people use it to describe us. Man. Fuck. I'm sorry. But that shit right there. I never understood how somebody could say that to me and then expect me to take it like as a compliment. Like, oh, you're not ghetto. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. Is it? I don't understand it. And it's because they expect something of you from what they've seen, from what they've experienced and what they've seen. But if you use those same like points that they're using to judge you with, you'll be in the wrong.
Yep.
You know, like if every time a white person came up to me and I was startled because I thought they're gonna take something from me, I would be in the wrong. Right? Instead of introducing myself and be like, I don't got nothing for you, man. Just starting off with that, I would be in the wrong. They would be like, oh, you're so rude.
All hell would break loose. You would get a lecture. You would get a think piece about why is it you're acting that way and what needs to change and all that bullshit.
When I was in high school, I didn't invite any of my white homies over or anything like that because I thought that they were just gonna move in and take my shit.
Yeah.
I would be so mean and like I was gonna say racist, but I would be so prejudiced because I can't be racist. But I would be so prejudiced against them. People would be upset with me.
Oh my God, that term too, because the people love calling black people racist, and I'm like, so you don't understand what the term racist means if you think black people can be racist. Like
Nope.
that's not what it is. And if we are prejudiced, we have a fucking reason to be, because history has shown us that everybody fucks black people over.
Yeah.
Everybody fucks melanated people over, and we're tired of this shit. We've seen this game. We've seen it before. We understand what the fuck is happening. So then when we have certain ideals and we think things that people that aren't of popular opinion, of our mainstream opinion, all of a sudden we're prejudiced or we're racist, and you don't even know what the fuck that means, because we cannot be racist, because we do not hold, we do not own things like that. We don't have that kind of
power.
position. So right, we don't have that power. So I can't be racist because I don't own that fucking McDonald's that can potentially hire you and then tell you no. Like it's not fucking possible.
Yeah, just because you feel it some type of way, I can't call the police and have them come in and get you.
No.
They're gonna come arrest me. Like
Exactly. That's exactly what the fuck they would do.
I don't.
I'll call the police and they'll come get my black ass. Like,
write this one down for our current event topics. But did you see the video of the two young black sisters standing in front of somebody's house, and they're at their neighbor's house because he had pulled out a shotgun on them, calling them all kinds of hoes and all kinds of things like that, because he thought they were hanging out in front of his house or something, but really the girl lived next door. And so anyway, the cops come and they end up arresting the girl, the woman who called the cops on them, and slamming her on the ground and all kinds of stuff like that, because they just can't. Like they had the authority to do that to her, and they said that she was being belligerent and all that stuff because she just had a shotgun pointed at her face. So of course she's upset and startled, but because she was like that and she's black, they slammed her on the ground and arrested her. And they did not arrest the man who allegedly pointed the shotgun at them. It should happen.
Oh, it's weird. They expect black people to react to stressful situations like they're not in a stressful situation. They expect us to react to situations like we've been there 100 times. Like it's normal for us to have a gun in our face or a person to point a gun in our face, and we have to react like a sane person. If someone has a gun in my face, I'm going to react differently. I am going to be belligerent. I am going to be upset. I am going to be practically in tears because somebody has a gun in my face. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And for them to come and assess the situation and think that the two black girls are the ones, I'm sure they were small. I'm sure they didn't have any height on them. In fact, and they're women. So like, what could you possibly do?
As opposed to a cop, who at least had 60 pounds on him.
Oh my God.
Slam,
60 pounds, a gun, a taser, a baton, a whole bunch of shit. Like there's nothing that these two girls can physically do to overwhelm you. Yet you take it upon yourself to not only to force them onto the ground with brutal force and say, and then turn around and be like, I was scared or I was fearful for my life, or pull out a gun on somebody and be like, I was scared and I was fearful of my life. What can they do? Like for real, what the fuck can they do? They can't.
We are assumed to be a threat until proven otherwise.
Which gets us
media that you got to think that most people don't have interactions with black people.
True.
Only interactions they have are through media.
True.
Especially things like World Star Now.
Oh Lord.
And television. And so through all those mediums, they think that we are inherently criminal.
Yep.
Insanely powerful for some reason. All of us, no matter what.
Like we're the Hulk. Like every black person is the fucking Hulk, basically.
Insanely powerful, and we just know, like you said, being like we've been in those kind of situations, so where we had guns pulled on us, and we just know all those kind of things. Like we know about everything supposedly. It's in because from their experience, it's in everything from literature to what they watch on TV. So they think we're just like that. So when they finally encounter us in the real world, they got nothing but those those images in their mind, and they treat us like that.
Absolutely.
That's why I started out with that. When I'm pretty sure you heard it when they first come up to you. Wow, you talk very well. And it's just like you just have a pause moment and be like, what do you think was going to come out of my mouth?
Right. What did you think I was going to sound like?
Like, I don't understand it. And I've traveled different places. It's been all different kinds of people that have said it to me. And
yeah.
Though I must say though, I don't mind it much when white people say it, because I expect them to be ignorant. But every time a little bit, it breaks my heart when it's a black person. It doesn't matter if it's a melanated person from like a different culture or whatever. When it's a black person from America, that shit breaks my heart. Because like, what do you expect, man?
Like, why are you even telling me that? Why would you think that? Why would you, of all people, think that?
That's why, like, we're supposed to be one. We're supposed to be on one accord and be on an understanding. Like, why do you think we all are? I don't even want to use not intelligent, because I don't even think that people who talk in that stereotypical way aren't intelligent. It's just like, why do I have to talk like that for you to accept me?
Right. But people who think people that talk that way think they're not intelligent though.
Yeah.
They do think that they're missing some intellect, that they don't have the capacity to understand and to comprehend and learn things in the same way that others do. When honestly, they could be some of the smartest people. They didn't learn. But no. Okay. I'm just I don't know. Like that I don't want to see that video. I want to look it up. But I don't want to see that video because I don't want to get pissed off.
I think at the very least, if you can't handle the video, I think people should check it out on the very fact that you would see what that kind of rhetoric does to people. Because I've seen videos like that. Like I said, like I've seen videos like that since I was young, watching narco videos, seeing people get chopped up and all kinds of crazy shit like that. But this one was different. These people were at peace until this man came in there and did what he did. And the most fucked up image that I remember from that whole thing was seeing this little kid slumped on top of his mom, just laying there. From all those, and he came in that place several times to do what he did.
Yo.
He went to two. He went to two mosques.
Wow. I didn't know that.
He went to two mosques.
Oh my God. So oh my God.
Wait. He went to two mosques. And the most fucked up image that I saw was that little kid slumped on his mother. But he went to two mosques. And while when he's leaving out of the mosque, he's shooting randomly because he's in a Muslim neighborhood.
Yo.
He leaves from their place, though. He's driving to the other one, I'm assuming. He's shooting people on the way, tactically, through his windows and very low on his windshield, so not to obstruct his view.
What the fuck?
Also, while he's driving, he lets some white people cross in the crosswalk. He doesn't hit them because he was speeding and with driving and shooting people, but he lets them cross, and then he continues on his rampage. Watch the video. It's very enlightening, even if you have to skip through all the parts where he's actually shooting people, because you already know what happens. But it's very telling to see where this guy's mind state was, and at the very least to look at his guns and see what he has written on them, and listen to the music and look it up, because he's playing propaganda music. Everything he did was planned. It's all planned, premeditated.
I have no words. I have no words. Doesn't None of that makes any sense. Um, I don't understand how he was able to go to the second mosque.
Well,
As a
we were
man.
watching it. I watched it several times, and at the barbershop too, because I was showing it to people like and asking them about it. And the whole time they kept asking, "Where are the police?
Yeah.
Where are the
Yes.
police?" Only one time while he's leaving the scene of the crime and shooting at people. After that, you hear police going the opposite way that he's going. And it doesn't.
Oh God.
I'm not from New Zealand, so I don't know the sirens. You know, I don't know if that was an ambulance or a police officer, but only one time do you hear a siren ever, and the whole time. So that's what makes me think like this was planned. How are there no police in that area?
At all whatsoever.
These people thought that like fireworks. What time of
Yeah.
the year do you guys shoot off fireworks? I've never seen any kind of New Zealand celebration where they've shot off fireworks or anything like that, or where anything with fireworks in New Zealand. That doesn't even sound.
Not only that, if you hear something like that and it doesn't cause you any alarm, like it, I don't know if they were in the remote part. It doesn't necessarily seem like it, like in the remote part, in the sense that like it's far enough from most people where it's spread out. So you wouldn't necessarily hear it, but even then, like I don't understand how you hear something like that and it doesn't raise any kind of alarm. It doesn't like none of that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's fucked up. I don't know if I can watch that.
yeah, and
I'll try to look at the video, but like I don't know if I can watch that because it's going to piss me off. That's one.
sure.
But two, it's going to make me sad that he was able to so casually do that. You know, like there was no fucking resistance whatsoever.
Only one
I don't know how.
dude
Go ahead.
Only one dude tried to stop him in the inside of the mosque. I only seen one person run at him and try to stop him from what he was doing. He was killed.
Right, but like those people, like I don't expect them to try and stop it just because it's like that's a stressful situation.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that there's the way that they have. I don't know New Zealand. I don't know how they do things. I'm sure it's very different than America. I would be naive to believe that's the same thing as Americans, right?
Yeah.
However, with that being said, I don't understand how he is able to not only shoot up a mosque, then target and select people on the street, get to a second mosque and do the same thing before he is ultimately killed. Like
he wasn't killed. He was captured. He's in custody right now. So that was another thing. That he was not killed. He was
fucking killed.
Justice. He was captured and he's in custody right now. And not only was he in custody, they have blurred his face and will not release his name.
Oh my God!
Because of some crazy law that they have over there. Not only that, this man threw up that OK symbol upside down for that white power bullshit while he was in custody. They took his picture and they blurred his face. But he knew that they were going to do that, blur his face or whatever. And so he threw up the symbol while his hands are in cuffs. And so his hands down and he's throwing up that OK sign for that white power bullshit.
Okay. All right.
That shit crazy as fuck.
Yeah, nah. Okay. So my very first thought from that whole situation, that shit seemed like it was planned. Like everybody had a part to play in that. And when I say everybody, I mean like some government officials,
damn straight,
police people, because none of that shit makes sense. And if people do not believe there's a different standard for white people than there are other people, that's a perfect example of that. They had the decency to blur out this man's face.
Fuck that, they took him alive.
And he's still alive.
After watching the video, remember I told you he had like 5 guns and 2 gas canisters. Yes. They know this man has guns and they took him alive. They don't even have to know you have a gun when you're black.
No, and you shoot you.
They will kill you. Not even knowing if you reach for something, The cop, I've seen a video where a cop asked a man at the gas station, "Let me see your ID." He reached for his ID and the cop shot him. He survived it. Thank God he survived it. Thank the creator that he survived it. But the cop asked him to let me see your ID. He reached for it and he shot him. You don't even have to have a gun if you're black, but they could know you have weapons, have killed people, know that you're probably borderline suicidal because you kill people and you might not want to serve that jail time, and they'll take you alive. And then, like you mentioned earlier, with Charleston in South Carolina, they'll stop at Burger King and get you a meal.
Yeah, I was just about to say that shit.
Get the fuck out of here.
That right there pissed me off the most. They took his ass to Burger King. He just killed 9 people, and he gets a Whopper.
Come get a Whopper.
Give him a Whopper.
Hey, you know why? Because those cops were congratulating him.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what they were doing. They were saying, "Good job."
That was one of their homies. That like, hey,
right.
Man, you're gonna have to serve this time, but you're gonna be living in luxury in there. Like, we got you.
We got you. Let's take you to Burger King first. Talking about they felt bad for him. They didn't feel bad for him. They were congratulating him. They were telling him, "Good job, well done." We can't necessarily say that, but here, let's take your ass to Burger King because this is what you want before we actually take you into the jail. You fucking kidding me right now?
It's fucking crazy how they treat these people, and we're supposed to pretend like it doesn't happen.
Right? Or we're crazy, or we're paranoid, or we're like a whole bunch of other things that are just so untrue.
For seeing shit and calling it how it is.
Exactly. Which is,
I think it was James Baldwin. James Baldwin, the famous writer.
Yeah.
He said, to be conscious and to be black in this society is to be upset all the time.
Yes.
And I that's not the exact quote, but it's something along those lines. And I never felt that way until I finally read that shit, and I was like, damn, I thought I was tripping. I thought it was just me.
Mm-mm.
I thought I was upset all the time for no reason and feeling some type of way and for no reason, but I'm not crazy. Even this man at this time felt something about that. Like, if you know what's going on, if you just look and you just open your eyes, you're gonna be upset.
I cannot believe that. They took this man alive. He gets to be alive and to sit in prison. I'm sure he's eating steak. I'm sure there are people tapping him on his back. I'm sure that fucking senator who got egged in his face is paying all his, probably would pay his bond if they would give him one, but is making sure he's okay in prison and all that bullshit.
Like Donald Trump did when that person. Remember Donald Trump said some shit like that?
What?
When somebody at one of his rallies punched a black dude in the face, he said, if anything like that happened again, I'll take care of all your bills, your bail and your finance. You remember that?
Yeah, he did say that. I do remember that. I remember him saying that.
These people are just the same, and they get to stay in these positions of power, and like not only that, but I think we should watch now and see what happened, because like we were saying, no police came while he was doing the shooting. They took him alive, all that stuff. It sounds very eerily planned in a weird way.
Yeah.
But so they changed the gun laws really fast.
They did change the gun laws really fast.
Hours, if I'm not mistaken, within 72 hours.
Which a lot of people are saying are good.
Because I remember a while ago, what's going to happen to the people there in New Zealand after they take all their guns away?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching, they had in New Zealand, they have these they call them bikies, motorcycle gangs, and they were the main people that came out to protect the mosque and for like donations and all kinds of stuff and charities. It was all the biker gangs or the bikies out there from New Zealand, and they all have mokos, traditional mokos, and mokos are face tattoos and the Māori people. And it's like they almost like transferred in a way their culture into the biker gang to keep it alive.
Right.
And they have guns and they protect themselves because they want to protect their native land and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting to watch and see if anything happens to those people after this thing has happened, and the Muslim people in those neighborhoods and stuff, because after something like that happens at your church, you're going to want to protect it. I want protection now. And now, in a way, it's good because you're taking these weapons away from these people, but now I can't protect people. So it's going to be interesting. There's always, there's always two sides to it.
Right, because he said guns, but they didn't say anything else. Yeah, you said the dude had gasoline and shit, and he probably could get his hands on a grenade or some shit like that. I don't put it past people. Like, I don't.
That dude was trained somehow, or he watched lots of videos to where somebody should have been alerted, because his gun clips were taped together so he could switch with them. When that man ran up on him and tried to stop him that he shot, his gun jammed and he cleared it within like 10 seconds and reloaded.
Wow.
And started shooting again.
So are they branding him as just like so are they saying he doesn't have any kind of military background or anything of that nature in which he would learn to do those things?
Lone wolf, from my understanding, is like one of those other lone wolf attacker, like Dylan Ruth. Just out of nowhere, he got radicalized and wanted to do what he did.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Not at all, but we're supposed to believe it.
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to believe that. No. Okay. I didn't know he got captured alive. I thought he was killed. Or let me be real. I assumed that because I heard about the situation. I'm like, there's no way I'm taking this fucking guy alive. There's no way. He's dying. Like, you got to die at that point. I'm not going to allow you to sit and live. Like, you don't get to do that after you've killed all of these people. It doesn't make any sense.
That's why children.
Yeah.
That little kid, like, that's what fucked me up the most. Is I've seen videos like that, but that little kid slumped on his mom. I don't understand why he did it in the first place, but like, there's kids. He shot a little kid. This little dude, rest in peace, was no more than like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
That's like, the kind of person that could do that is, and I'm not even religious, but that's the only person that could kind of do that is some kind of devil. Like, that's some kind of devil.
That's some evil shit.
Some very evil shit. I believe good and evil is all perspective, but
yeah,
inherently, I think there's something that just was in that person that he was just like that.
It had to be, because you don't learn that. You don't learn that. We learn a lot of things. We all, as human beings, we're all kind of fucked up. We all have our individual shit that we have to deal with, but that is next level. That's something different.
Definitely.
I had no idea. I assumed he was dead.
No, not at all.
And then he got to throw up a white power sign. Like, I don't know.
I'm telling you, when he threw up that sign, and then because like, I watched the Joe Rogan podcast and all that kind of stuff, and Joe Rogan was on there one time adamantly saying that this is some fucking bullshit. This is a hoax. It has to be a hoax. This is a joke. Like, Peter throwing up a white power sign, but there were so many police officers, military.
Yo.
Up.
Yeah, nah. That don't make no damn sense. Nah. But we've all right, just to transition. So kind of on the topic, but not necessarily. Just hilarious, just to lighten the mood a little bit. She did something stupid. She did something stupid. And so just to recap, she was on her Instagram or some kind of social media platform. I don't really know. But either way, she was on Instagram and she sees guys with turbans on and she goes, "Oh, where you going? Where you going?" Just being stupid, right?
Yeah.
She puts it on there.
Which is super inappropriate in light of what just happened.
Ooh,
right?
We'll get to that.
You're right.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But she gets backlash from people, from people in general, like people on social media, and she takes the video down and then she apologizes. And then a little while later, she decides, let me get back on Instagram. She's like, oh, so we got taken off of the plane, and I don't see the 4 guys that were on the plane with us, dudes with the turbans, right? And she was like, so fuck y'all. I was scared. I was telling y'all I was scared. Fuck y'all. Y'all should respect how I feel. And now those dudes aren't on the plane anymore. My first thought.
As if she had something to do with it, though, like, which is kind of weird. But
Right.
Keep going. Keep going.
My first thought was, you idiot. They're probably just as prejudiced as you are, which is why they took the dudes off the turbans, with the turbans off the plane. So that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they're criminals. It doesn't mean they were trying to blow up a plane. It doesn't mean shit. All it means is they're probably just as prejudiced as you are. And they decided that there are dudes with turbans on the plane. Let me take them off because we feel unsafe, or we don't want our customers to feel unsafe. All that bullshit. Second, just to get into like her idiocy as a person, everything doesn't need to be said. I feel like there are many thoughts that run through our head. We all know this, and most of them aren't the most intelligent thought. We have to really work through what we're thinking, and then like come to a conclusion about something. Instead of her doing that, she put her own ignorance out there for everyone to see, right? Apologized for her ignorance, and then doubled down on her ignorance, and was like, and had to apologize for it again. That didn't make any sense to me at all. Because if she had just waited, which she should have done, if she had just waited in general, just to see how the whole situation would play out. And I mean, really waited, not like they got off the plane and then you say something about it again. Like, no, just wait and see how the situation plays out, then respond or act on it. And even then, don't do it in a fucking ignorant way. She just decided that she was going to be ignorant that day and then double down on her ignorance and justify it with saying, well, I was scared. Doesn't make any sense. That's just like a white woman, I don't know, walking into a train, walking into a store, seeing a black guy, or just anywhere in general, just walking down the street, seeing a black guy, immediately fearing for her life or her jewelry or whatever the fuck, and deciding that she's going to call the cops, and then something happens where that black man gets killed. It's the same
She wasn't no different than Barbecue Becky in that moment.
Exactly. She was not. And then people want to give her a pass because she's black. And here's what really killed me, right? She came when she doubled down, right? She decided to be like, y'all mad at me because I don't want to think like every other black person out here. I wanted to slap the shit out of her. I was like, that's not thinking about every other black person. That's not like your way of thinking is just ignorant. It's ignorant.
They were Sikhs. They were not Muslim.
Exactly. Which is another thing we're going to get into.
Different religions.
Right.
Right. Religions. And then the fact that she tried to justify what she said also. And with first, her apology, if you watch her, that was not her apology. Somebody wrote that for her.
I know. I already know.
Like she's on network television now and shit.
Oh yeah, she's on Real. She's on Real. So I was actually rooting for her at one point in time. But go ahead.
Watching her, they gonna watch you. Like, you want to be on this network, so you better watch what you say. And somebody was real quick was like, "Hey, check this out. There you go."
Yeah.
Like, she said, I have Muslim people in my family.
Yeah.
Did you see, I think it's a guy that they were interviewing, and he tried to prove he wasn't racist because he has black nephews or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that shit.
She was the same. I'm not racist. I got black people in my family.
Like, what you mean? That can't possibly be racist.
I'm sure what's that dude's name? One of the founding fathers. I'm sure he thought the same shit.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't figure out his name right
Any of them, because they all love black women.
Right. There you go. But no, that
I
was
thought they weren't racist because they got mixed kids now, and they sleep with black women, and they think they're not racist. That doesn't mean anything.
What was so stupid about it though, was she was like, I got Muslim people in my family. Like Muslims are a race. Muslims aren't a race. They're a part of the religion Islam. Like that was the dumb part. So Muslims can be considered anyone. If an Asian person converted to Islam, they would be a Muslim.
That's like saying a Christian is a race.
Exactly. So that's why the whole damn thing was stupid. And I felt like if she just
keep going.
Right, but had she just like went through it in her mind for a good 30 seconds, she would have realized how stupid she was being. But she was reacting purely off of emotion, and people of social media going at her. And this is the part that I don't understand about people. Everything doesn't need to be said, everything doesn't need to be done, everything doesn't need to be recorded, but people are so addicted to that attention that they do it. And then when they don't get the attention that they like or the attention that they feel like they deserve, they double down on their stupidity, which is exactly what she did. She said something stupid. People called her out for it. She was like, oh, I apologize. And then decided to double down when the dudes with the turbans were taken off the plane, really disrespected the Sikh and the Islam religion by trying to compare the two and saying, I have Muslim people in my family, like that makes a fucking difference. Doesn't even matter at all. And then in her apology video, she kept getting the word Sikh wrong. You've already disrespected them, right? By trying to connect them with another religion that they have nothing to do with, just purely off that, trying to imply that they were terrorists, and then have the nerve to still not understand or how to even say the fucking word right. And then goes, I'm going to donate $15,000 to the people in New Zealand. I wasn't aware of what happened at the time.
And she's still wrong because that's not even the person she disrespected.
Oh, thank you.
Disrespected Sikhs, not the Muslim people. And since she fucked up by saying that, definitely send those people that money because they need it. But
exactly.
Now since you fucked up twice, or not now like 4 or 5 times, now send the Sikhs some money too and help them out, because I don't even know if they need it, but send it to them because you fucked up. And I didn't necessarily want to I didn't want to approach it in this way. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it was her doubling down on the story in general, right? And then that fake ass apology that she sent out, right? Like I didn't understand that. Like I don't know. I don't get how she decided to do that, come to that conclusion, and then try to make it seem like everything was okay because she was scared. Like none of that made any sense in the first place. And had she just kept those thoughts to herself, legit, had she not done any of that, this wouldn't be an issue. She really did it to herself. She took out her phone. She started recording people. She said something ignorant. People got on her for it. She then apologized and then said something even more ignorant, trying to mask it off as if she's scared, which could be true, but she never thought anything through. And I don't know what's going on with people, but they feel like because they have some kind of platform or people are following them or they're influencers in some way, everything and anything has to be said, has to be done. They're getting themselves into really stupid situations and then not understanding their own stupidity. Doesn't make any sense. I definitely agree. So, 100%, because she felt like she was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And not only that, but that it was going to be funny.
Yes. Right.
You know, and like I was saying, like she did that thinking it was going to be, and this shows how connected and how ignorant people are at the same time.
Yeah. She's
famous through social media. Social media is this huge news connection for people for around the world. You know, I could tell you about news. That's how I found out about the New Zealand thing. I found that shit out at
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning when it first happened, and they're in a whole
Yep.
nother time zone
Yep.
through social media. She's connected through social media, and she didn't know that shit happened, and she's trying to get on social media and make that fucking joke like that. Like,
That's why I didn't make it.
who's in charge? Like, I'm pretty sure there's like a publicist or something. Who's in charge of this girl?
Right. And it's like, I don't know.
Get a
Man.
hold of her or something, like something's wrong.
Right. Right. It was just again, it's her own ignorance, her not understanding her ignorance and then doubling down on her ignorance. Like I can tell she thought none of that through. She moved purely off of emotion just because she was upset that everybody was going at her, rightfully so though. Like rightfully so. They all were getting on her ass for a reason. And instead of like looking into what people were saying, she was just like, fuck y'all, I'm scared.
And which is what that's like and I hate to use this as an example because this young man lost his life for that, but I was like an Emmett Till thing. I'm scared.
That's what happened to Trayvon Martin.
Let me just say this because I'm scared.
Right.
That's Black people almost in this country, almost like every day to every other day. Something happens to them because I was scared.
Right. Because people are fearful for no reason, and they have no reason to be. And she had no reason to be fearful in that situation, but instead of thinking about it and really trying to process it, what she needed a friend there to like say something stupid with, and then that friend know her and love her and trust her enough to be like, hey, that was stupid. Here's the real situation. And then it would have been no issue. But she decided to go and have her thoughts and all that shit on social media and then get mad when people are like, no, you're stupid. Like you're actually stupid in real life.
And let me just stereotype us real quick again.
Go ahead.
I think more Black people just need more religious education because we don't know other. There's like most Black people know like 3 religions: Christianity, Buddhism, and Islam. That's it.
We might know something about voodoo or Santeria or something like that, but
and then maybe those might be wrong, like Jewish people, but they don't even assume that, because they think that's a race.
Yeah.
And let me go back. That's what I was going to ask you. That was a question, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Remember you were saying like she's used Muslim, like that's a race of people, and I don't want to get off the topic, but since you were saying that, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel that people now use Jewish as an ethnicity or as a race when that's a religion?
I think in a way, though, the Jewish community feels like that themselves. I could be wrong. I probably should talk to some Jewish people about it. But even with like the little bit I know about them and their culture, they're very homogenous in that sense, like to where they kind of consider it as a race. And if I'm not mistaken, again, I could completely be wrong about this. There are certain things or certain physical traits that if you haven't converted to, I forgot what the religion is, but like if you haven't converted to Judaism, like there are still certain like physical traits about Jewish people in general that distinguish them as Jewish, like the stereotypical like hook nose and things of that nature. So if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the reasons why it's used in that way. And also from what I've known about it, like Jewish people that I have met have used it as a way to identify people in their religion, but also as like a race thing, like, oh, I'm Jewish, but like not in the sense of this is my
Polish, really.
Right.
They'll be Polish and they're Jews.
Right. Yeah. Like this is not like my belief. This is like who I am.
We can get into that on another topic because we don't talk about that for a long time, but I think that's like some Zionist shit.
Okay.
But we could get into that another time. But I think we should transfer into another topic.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes. Lighten it up one more time.
let's lighten it up a bit with okay, so since this is like hmm, let's go to the Yes Jules, Scotty Beam, Karen Silver
You're gonna
situation.
have to help me out on this one still.
I got you. Don't even trip.
From my understanding, she posted that it was a T-shirt, right?
Yep, it was a T-shirt,
And
but
it's what did it say?
it said, oh fuck, I just blanked. Um, it said all niggas lie or niggas lie, something like that. But I know it had the word niggas on it, and I know it had the words lie on it. But all niggas lie or some shit like that. She posted it on Twitter. She was like, "Should I wear it to this festival or some shit like that?" Scotty Beam and Karen Civil, just to give background. Okay, so just to give background on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Yes Jules is a white woman who hosts parties for a living. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Scotty Beam and Karen Civil. Karen Civil has built a media empire.
Wait. Can I interrupt real quick on the Yes Jules from because after you told me about the topic and everything, I tried to do some research, but I'm not too hip to what was going on.
Yeah.
Yes Jules hosts parties with rappers.
Yep.
And the only reason, from my understanding, she hosts parties with rappers is because she's very blessed in the nether regions. She's very thick.
Yep.
And that's the only reason, from my understanding. She doesn't make music. She's not a DJ.
Nope.
She doesn't sell any kind of liquor products, to my understanding.
Nope.
She's not sponsored by anyone.
Nope.
She's just
a white girl
amongst the people trying to
Yep.
make a name for herself.
Yep.
Okay. There you go.
Yep.
I just want to throw that out there.
No. You good. I get it. So that's what she was. So that's Karen Silver. Like I said again, has built a media empire. And she's like does media training, but also helps out like people's favorite artists. I know she did a lot of work with Nicki Minaj and people like that. So she's legit. Scotty Beam hosts her own show with Joe Budden, Remy Ma, and a guy's name who I forget. No disrespect to him though. Called State of the Culture, and she's been doing her thing.
Oh, okay. On what's that shit called?
Revolt. It's on YouTube, but it's on Revolt.
Is that on Revolt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like she what I'm basically trying to establish here is that both of them no, you good. Both of them are very successful women who have built their way up, right? So the situation happens. Scotty Beam and Karen Silver getting her ass immediately. They're like, bitch, you shouldn't have a shirt like that at all. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And they immediately are like, yeah, I think you're racist. Like, I don't understand why you would have that shirt and why you think it's okay. Scotty Beam even went as far, was like, I don't give a fuck about you and your black friends. You can pull up. In fact, don't even worry about that. Here's my Addy. Here's where I am most times out of the day. You and your so-called black friends can pull up. I don't give a damn, because you shouldn't have done that and you shouldn't have said that, and you know better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she went hard. She didn't care. And I understood. I completely understood. Here's the part that blew me. Murda Mook. Murda Mook is a battle rapper. Really, he's known mostly in that field as a battle rapper. So he goes all around and he does all these shows. He, Yes Jules, and Yes Jules were on a podcast. I don't know what podcast they were on.
That's one that I seen. They were like, did you see it? Like in like a house or something like that?
Yeah. Like some shit like that. And
okay.
Yes Jules is talking about the situation and how she feels like Karen Silver and Scotty Beam specifically are trying to brand her as racist. And Murda Mook is like, well, why can't you say the word nigga though? Murda Mook, a black man.
He asked Yes Jules that?
Yeah, he asked Yes Jules that. He was like, but why though? Like, why can't you say that? And that got me heated for many reasons. First off, when it comes to situations like this, Black people need to stand together as a whole. No one outside of melanated people should be able to say the word nigga. Like no one outside of us. Black people own that word. We have that word. Whether no matter how you feel about saying it, I'm a person who doesn't like to say it as much. Like I hear it in rap songs, it's good, it's whatever. I ain't gonna fault you for saying it, but that's not how I see you, Adam. That's not how I see other Black people. Like y'all not my niggas. You are
Yeah.
kings and queens. You come from royalty. That's how I see you. You feel me?
Let me throw it in there for you real quick, though. I
Right.
understand what you're saying because niggas is a spelling, it's how you say it.
Yep.
But nigus, it's a different word. Neegus. Nigus is an Ethiopian word for king.
I had no idea.
But most people don't know that though. So especially white people don't. A lot of white people don't know that. So you don't call me that because you don't know what it means.
Right.
Look that one up. There's even a video clip of this little white boy at a spelling bee, and they ask him and he has to spell it, and it's kind of funny to everybody.
Yeah, because it's like it's real close.
But what's crazy is because this little kid is in the spelling bee, and I'm pretty sure he's probably a scholar. He researches and he knows what nigas means. So a lot of other people know what the word means and where it originates from and where it comes from, but we don't.
I had no idea.
Comes in, that's where the problem comes. But yeah, most white people in America don't know what that word means, and so they should never call us or use that word at all.
Nope, not at all. And also, you had two Black women who was getting the white woman's ass. She says she's Hispanic. Everybody's Hispanic when some shit like this happens. I hate that shit. Anytime, like Daniel Hernandez, that motherfucking Tekashi 6ix9ine nigga, who I also believe should not ever have been said the word nigga and doing all the things that he was doing. But yeah. I digress.
Anytime. That's facts because a lot of and Latin or Hispanic, that's not an ethnicity. That's not. Those people come from somewhere, like just a language that they speak. But when it's convenient, they'll use the word nigga and they'll be Black in that moment. But if you
they hop in and out of it.
Yeah, when they're on their family, you ask them, they're not. They're not. My favorite thing is Godfrey. He loves to say like Dominican. I know black.
Yeah.
I know black. Like, nah, bro. I'm looking at you.
Right. Like I see you.
From African descendants. Yeah. You might not want to call yourself black, and I could 100% understand that after doing some research what black means and certain parts of the world, especially in America, what black is. I can understand you not wanting to call yourself that, but you are my brother. Right. You are. All I gotta do is look at you,
and I see it.
A lion in a zoo will see a lion in the wild and be like, we're one. We're the same. I might not know the same things that you've been through, but we're the same people.
Exactly. And real quick, I wish people understood that more, but people like them like to hop in and out of our culture when it's convenient. They hop in when they need some clout, when they're trying to get to a certain level, and then hop their ass out when they feel like they are where they need to be. And now they're in more of a mainstream of society. And now they have different followers and all of these things. And all of a sudden it's like, fuck all that shit. But to get back to yes, Jules. So she said the word nigga. Well, she didn't say the word nigga, but she had that shirt and Scotty Beam, Karen Silva get into her ass, and Murder Mook does what so many Black men do, unfortunately, and defend her. It's like, why can't you say it though? Like, you my nigga. I feel like you my nigga. I feel like, I've grown up with people like you, and like I give y'all a special pass. Like, y'all a part of our culture.
Can we address that real quick?
Yes, we can.
All right, so
yes, we can.
Sometimes that happens, right?
Okay.
I've seen it firsthand, like where someone who is not of the culture will be allowed to use that word amongst their peers, right? But I'm not cool with that, right?
Nope.
Let me just throw that out there. I'm not cool with that. I've been kicking it, hanging out on the street, and heard someone say it, and get into fights because I will stop them and be like, "Hey, what did you just say?" And you have the audacity to say that while you're walking past me. You don't know me. You don't know us. You don't, and you're gonna use that word in front of me. So I have to check him, and it's just something in my spirit that tells me that, hey, say something. And sometimes it gets me in lots of trouble, and I don't care. But when those people allow that to happen, and with their friend, they need to explain to that person that that's cool in our circle, but everyone else doesn't feel that same way. So if you use that word outside of this circle, there are consequences that are going to happen to you. And no matter what we say, we can't help you. And it's that simple. Like, they could say whatever they want, and they're just gonna look bad for defending this person for saying the word.
And we are justified in saying what we're saying, or what we would do to that person for saying that word.
Damn sure.
So that's what really kind of pissed me off, is that Murder Mook decided, okay, I feel like, yes, Jules is this kind of person, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, and have her say it and be with her on the situation. Like, she can do it. He he and so many other people like him annoy the fuck out of me for this reason. I do not understand how, as a black man, you will sit there and have someone, he doesn't really know that girl like that. Let's be real about the situation. He doesn't know the girl like that. This is just someone, again, who hosts a lot of parties and are with a lot of rappers, and that's all that she does. Like, that's, I'm sure, like Karen Civil and Scotty Beam implied, she's doing a little bit of extra on the side, but that's all there is to her. There's no substance to her. There's nothing that she's really adding towards the culture. She's just kind of ripping off of it at this point, in my own opinion, in my eyes. That's what right? Yeah. So it's just like, so there was that. But then, like, he publicly went against two black women and deciding that, oh yes, Jules can say that, further validating her and her stance in that, oh, Scotty Beam and Karen Silva are trying to make it seem like I'm racist.
Wow. All right, so I hope that's not the dude that I seen on the podcast that I was watching, because there's two black guys on there, and I'm not sure which one it was.
Okay, I'll make sure that, like, I can point them out to you some kind of way, but he was definitely there. He was in that room. He was talking. He said the dumb shit. I didn't understand it, and I will never understand it, because it's like those things. We as a culture, I believe, have decided that no one out of melanated people should say that word. Obviously, you have people who say it within their circle of friends, and they understand that, and well, hopefully they understand that it should only be within their circle of friends, and it shouldn't go outside of that. But for Murder Mook to allow that kind of situation to happen, where he's like, I don't understand why you can't say it, because it's like, you're a part of the culture.
But she's not.
She's not. That's the thing. Also, we've seen this many times before, as we said in the last episode with the Miley fucking Cyrus, someone who, again, got really popular when she was within the culture. Everybody liked, and as soon as she got to where she felt she needed to be, she hopped her white ass right off and was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what I was doing. I was wearing the bad at that time. That bitch, she's going to do the same thing. We all know this. We've seen this before, which is why Scotty Beam and Karen Silva were so upset. And I couldn't understand why Murder Mook was sitting there justifying her and validating her and her feelings, talking about, oh, you're not racist, you're not this. It's the writing is on the wall with these kinds of people.
I understand
it's
that.
oh my God, like it's on the wall. You can clearly see it. She's doing what she feels like she needs to do until she gets to a certain point where she can turn her back on our culture that she's stolen from, that she's gotten popular off of. And then she had the nerve to say, I don't really want to be like with like the big brands out there, like with Gucci and shit like that. I just want to host my parties. Like, no, bitch, I see right through you. I see exactly what it is you're doing. And I understand exactly why those people got your ass the way they did. And for Murder Mook and people like him to sit there and justify it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm so tired of this I have black friends narrative. I don't care how many black friends you have. I don't give a fuck if it's Martin Luther King. Bitch, do not say it. Do not say it. You have no right. You have no claim to it. And you do exactly what everybody else does. Because let's say the police come in and they bust up that fucking party and they start throwing people around, so they start slamming people around. And because you look white, you will not be treated like that. But you will not stand with those black people who are being treated like that.
I'm
Exactly. Exactly. She won't stand. She won't be there. She will act like nothing happened. She ain't gonna bail these fucking niggas out. She gonna leave them high and dry and be like, oh, I'm sorry it happened to you. That's exactly what the fuck she's going to do. That's exactly what those people do all of the time. And for Murder Mook again to sit there and to validate how she feels and to basically say that Karen Civil and Scottie Beam were wrong without actually saying it is fucked up. It's absolutely fucked up.
See, that's what I was about to say. Is we got to stop letting people like that, like Murder Mook.
Yes.
And I don't even know who that is. I'm not a battle rap fan, but
neither am I. But like I know like a little bit about him.
Well, I gotta ask my brother. My brother loves that shit. But like people like that, we gotta stop letting them decide who's for and who's not for the culture. Because obviously, if they're thinking like that, they're not for it either.
No.
Also, we gotta stop even allowing people in, like a Yes Jules, to be a part of it. We have to,
right.
And it sucks to say or to even to feel that way, but we gotta have more of a lock on our culture. Like
we have to
we're naturally accepting of everyone.
Oh my God, because it's in us to be that way.
All was from the very beginning. We will accept everyone, not knowing that this person will take what we taught them and turn it against us and benefit from it while we suffer.
Yep.
Yes, Jules is no different than the first Europeans that came to Africa and was like, damn, this shit's dope.
Yep.
This shit's dope. Hey, right home right now. Like, hey, you don't even come on shore. Take this letter and go tell them how these niggas got gold on and they're not even royal. Come tell somebody about this shit. Like they seen what was going on. They were like, oh my God, this shit's amazing. You know how much money we can make off of this shit? You know what we could do with this? She's no different. I don't see her any different. We got to stop letting those kind of people into our society.
She's not. And that's what got me so upset is that unfortunately he couldn't see through that bullshit. She's the same kind of person. She's the same kind of way. And she doesn't have any real credibility. Like all you do is host parties. I'm not knocking you, get your money, but don't try to compare yourself. What she really was trying to do was discredit Karen Silver or Scottie Beam by saying the platforms that they were on or the campaigns that they were doing in their other business ventures kind of invalidated them in a way because they were doing things outside with other brands and that they were like, they basically are bettering themselves. And by her hosting parties and being with the real people, I guess, is her way of playing down with the culture. And I'm like,
first off, who's real in the culture? Because you don't have no say.
No, you have none.
You know, she has nothing to say. And not only that, but you also have no say in what these black women do for their people because you're not black. So
exactly.
Sit the fuck out in the house.
Oh my God.
Just take your seat. And when you are invited, then you come.
Right.
You're invited.
And respect our
Until-
culture when you are invited. Respect.
or get your ass put out.
Exactly.
Very simple. Is that like? But we got to be like that, and naturally, we're just too inviting. Like, just, hey, whoever it is, come on in. You know.
But no, that's yeah. Her in that whole situation, I didn't really understand. There were a lot of people out there defending her, which I didn't really understand.
Caesar.
Yeah. Oh my God, that nigga.
Daniel Caesar. So
That nigga. I totally forgot about him.
On Black Twitter. From what I heard, I need to make one of those. Speaking of which, so I can loop. But they all attacked him on Black Twitter, and then he said like he was attributing the things that he was saying to Black people being sensitive, and he was like, we need to get over it. How he got over it when he was on John Mayer's show, and Dave Chappelle was asked about him by John Mayer, and Dave Chappelle, the first thing he said was like, "Oh, Daniel Caesar, very gay," and then he's like, "Hey, what do you mean?" And then he's like, they go back and forth real quick, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm being sensitive," and he tried to use that as Black people are being sensitive about that Yes Jules topic and what she used and what she said, and we need to get with the winning team strategy and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he said that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said we need to get with the winning team strategy.
What is up with people not realizing that they're Black when they have some kind of success? Like I don't understand.
Also said
like
that. He said, "Don't get it twisted. I'm Black as fuck." That was also another thing he said. He said, "Don't get it twisted. Look at me. I'm Black as fuck."
Obviously, there's something wrong though, because like for you to even say something like that,
something is very wrong.
Because I no. Like, what do you mean? Like, you are Black as fuck, which is why you should understand more than anybody why what she said and what she's going about doing is detrimental and hurtful to our community. Instead of sitting up there and trying to defend her, talking about we're sensitive. We have every right to be sensitive, especially about that word and especially about people using it. We have every fucking right. And what we're really trying to do is protect ourselves and protect our culture. And for him to not understand that doesn't make any sense and then be like, oh, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, you drunk?
After.
Oh, I'm drunk. After people attacked me, oh, I was drunk. Never mind what I was saying. And to put in context what happened with Dave Chappelle, we have to realize that Dave Chappelle is a fucking comedian.
Exactly.
That's his job. He tells jokes, right? So the first thing when he said to Daniel, well, when John Mayer asked him about Daniel Caesar, he goes, very gay. And then he like literally moves on. It wasn't that big of a deal. But then Daniel Caesar.
It was just a little quick jab. Like,
you knew it was a joke as soon as it came out of his mouth. It was like, oh, very gay. But like, all right, whatever, move on. Like, for him to compare the two situations doesn't make any sense. For the people around him to allow him to be online and say that stupidity again does not make any sense. Because if I love you, if I fuck with you, I'm taking your phone away. Nah, nigga, you drunk right now.
But you got to remember, like, most people who are famous and are getting money have some kind of entourage with them.
All right.
Most of the time, they don't want to. They've never been privy to that kind of lifestyle or that kind of stuff, so they don't want to fuck it up either. So they're gonna turn into yes men, and they're not gonna say anything to fuck up their experience while riding the coattails of this person. So why would I say something? Because he might get mad at me, and then I can't be in the entourage anymore.
People need to learn how to stand on their 2 feet. I don't care what kind of life somebody is quote unquote providing for me. I feel like I can do anything on my own. And even if I don't get to that kind of means, as long as I can feed myself, I can clothe myself, I have a roof over my head. Yes. I'm not trading my dignity for that. I'm not trading my dignity for anything anybody has to offer me. Because at the end of the day, it's materialism, it's consumerism, and it's not something that I need. It's not. And for them to allow that situation is beyond me. Like, nah. That's not it. That's not how I'm gonna rock. So yeah, fuck him for that. Like, legit, fuck him for that. Again, and that goes back to my point of everything doesn't need to be said. Like he could have said that with his entourage and it'd have been fine. But he decided to get onto social media again and say that dumb shit and then get upset when we said something about it. Like, for real?
It's I don't understand it, but it's people that attention. They need that attention, and then they get
They
on
do.
there and have high cocked ideas, and then they shoot them off. What's the best part for me was that part when he said he was drunk, because I've been around drunk people since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting faded since I was young. A drunk man tells no tales.
You're right about
I'm
that.
not gonna lie. Like they might say the most disrespectful shit you would hear, but they're gonna be honest about it. And when they say it, even if you feel some type of way about it and you want to let them apologize the next day when they're sober, take heed to what they said because they meant that shit.
Yep.
They meant it. It's unfiltered when it comes out of their mouths. You need to listen to what they say. Everyone should pay attention to what Daniel Caesar said and watch, because whether they accept him back or whatever happens, and the black Twitter sphere or whatever that shit is, later he's gonna say something and people are gonna be like, hey, what the fuck? And just remember what he said that first time. It's gonna come back.
You're 100% right about that. You are 100% right about that. And that's another thing. We really need to pay attention to what people are saying, what people are doing, and their actions. Again, everybody doesn't need to be a thought leader. It's not everybody thinks, apparently. So yeah, like I don't fuck him. Definitely fuck yes, Jules.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing. Fuck yes, Jules. But fuck him too for saying some dumb shit like that.
And next episode we're making a button. We're gonna have a fuck them button. We're gonna press it.
Hey, oh no, oh god. We should definitely do that. We should definitely do that. All right. So just to wrap it up,
We got
I don't know if there are any white people who are going to listen to this, but you should, because this is a great way to be a white ally. If you want to be an ally,
Yep.
this is a great way to be a white ally. So you should definitely look this video up, but I'm going to explain it to you. There is a situation where you have people in a courtroom. There are many people there who are protesting a situation, and in particular, there's a black man.
I think it's for Stephon Clark, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, right.
The brother who was killed by the police.
In his backyard, was that him?
I believe so. So that's what that protest was for, and that's why they were doing what they were doing.
All right. So that's what that protest was for. This black man was irate, as he should be, because there was another black man who was killed in his backyard, and I just don't understand, which you could possibly